Okay, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Brian, also known as ThatJournalingGuy, and today I'm here to talk to you about something that you could reference if you ever decide you want to change journals. So today we're going to be comparing the Leuchtturm 1917 and a Moleskine journal notebook. So we're actually going to be comparing both of these to see which one fits your needs the best. Now, I'm strictly going to just be comparing them based on like their specifications and stuff like that. If you really want to hear my opinion about which one I prefer and which one I use, stick to the end of the video. If not, we're gonna jump straight into some comparisons. Now, in terms of what we're comparing, we're obviously gonna talk a little bit about the paperweight. We're gonna talk about, variations, all this and all that. And by the way, this video is going to mostly be about the A5 sizes for both of them. But one very important test that we're gonna run through all of them is we're actually going to run a pen test through both notebooks, which is super important depending on what you want to do. If you want a bullet journal, and here with me I have a collection of all the pens that, like, major pen brands that I think you guys would be using in these journals. So I picked the most pigmented pens of that brand to see how the color leaks through, or if there's any type of ghosting, or how the notebook reacts to the ink. Now, if you guys want to see all of the brands that I'm using, it's going to be in the description below. You can check. I will have an Amazon link if you wanted to buy those specific pens. But I do have all the major brands that I think you guys would use. So let's begin with the Leuchtturm 1917. They pride themselves in having ink-proof paper, and one of the most important things that you need to know about this notebook is the fact that they collabed with Ryder Carroll. So this is the official bullet journal. They actually have a black journal. I think there's black, blue, and I think just black and blue, where it legitimately says like bullet journal. So if you're looking at a bullet journal, this is a solid choice for that, specifically for the following reasons. It is a heavy paper, more so than the Moleskine. So the paperweight is 80 grams per square meter, or 80 GSM. So that's equivalent to like 60-pound cardstock. It's good paper. It's really, like, it's thicker than most notebooks. They also have the hardcover, soft cover variations, a lot of colors. Like, when I say this notebook has a lot of colors, I'm not kidding. They literally have like every variation of gray, from dark gray to light gray, light blue to dark blue, red, green, orange, purple, yellow. They have a great selection of colors to really match your style or your aesthetic. Also, Leuchtturm has plenty of sizes. Usually people who start bullet journals want to start with something like A5. If you don't know what the sizes are, I will link below. I will link in the description on what A5, A4, A6, all the different sizes, notebook sizes mean and how big they are. But A5 is usually the best starting point for somebody who's starting a bullet journal. It's not too big, it's not too small, and it affords you the freedom to like be as creative as you want without feeling like having the need to fill up too much space. Really portable, really good size. With the Leuchtturm 1917 comes with a band, also an elastic band that you can use to wrap around your notebook. Good, so it's not like flopping around in your purse and your backpack, and it's not opening everywhere. Now, in terms of price range, the Leuchtturm usually goes for around $20, and that's the current price. It's actually $19.95, the current price on Amazon. Also, you could find them at places like Barnes & Nobles. When I was first looking for these, and I didn't think to look on Amazon or their website, the only place that I could find them was in Barnes & Nobles in the United States. If you're from America, Barnes & Nobles is a great place to actually find both of these journals, or both of these notebooks. You can find specific limited edition notebooks of the Moleskine inside of a lot of good Barnes & Nobles. but the price range can go anywhere between $20 to like $35 depending on the size. Now, one of my favorite features about this notebook specifically is if you're bullet journaling, inside of this notebook, you're actually gonna get, oh, look, here, perfect example. So this is the blue. I'm gonna try to get the light to reflect. So it says bullet journal. And this was one of the first bullet journals that I used, the Leuchtturm 1917, right there. So one of the cool things, and then you're gonna find it in these, are tips on how to start bullet journaling. It's not only going to give you tips, but a lot of cool things is that, like, since it's specifically made for bullet journaling, they even include something like an index. You don't have to make your own index. Not only that, at the end of your journal or notebook, it's interchangeable. When I say journal or notebook, it's going to be interchangeable. But at the end of it, they even give you a migration, they give you a migration instructions on how to move the important information from your notebook to another notebook when you're done with this one. And that's really essential for somebody who bullet journals, because there's a lot of, like, depending on how artistic or how busy you are, you can be going through bullet journals as quick as 6 months. You know, there's people who go through them in 3 or 4 months. People who are extra artsy and extra, organized with their bullet journals, they can go pretty fast. Also, cute, little things that are noteworthy. The note pages are also marked, numbered pages. So when you're creating an index, you can just refer to the bottom number page and put it in your index. Yeah, I don't know why I switched accents, so don't mind it. But very specific, pretty heavy, feels good in the hand, feels durable. I've chucked this in backpacks, and the corners seem to not have taken a lot of damage. Still bound super well, and this thing's probably 2 years old, so it's pretty good. Also, I'm not going to be opening a new one, but I will be running the pen test on an opened Moleskine and on an opened Leuchtturm that I have. Now, let's talk a little bit about the Moleskines. Boom. So I specifically am a really, really, really big fan of Moleskine. No bias, but they were the first notebooks that I used for bullet journaling, because I don't know, they just seemed so nice, it was fancy, and it was just a really good size. But my Moleskine bullet journal, which we'll go through in another video, my first bullet journal was here, my first official bullet journal, because I did end up using a journal from Michaels. I ended up using a journal from Michaels for my first bullet journal, and I hated it, so I upgraded to this. And $20 for a notebook back then seemed outlandish when I had bought that one from Michaels for $5. But the Moleskine, now there's a lot of options just within the Moleskine brand. Okay, so let's start with a little bit. There's a hardcover, soft cover. They're going to have every variation that you could think of in terms of paper. So they're going to have dotted, squared, lined, and plain. So depending on your preference on how you want a bullet journal, I personally use dotted, used to use squared, wasn't a fan. Dotted just makes it look a lot nicer. But they have complete different options, even in terms of paper. They have the artist sketch journals that have really thick paper that even work with watercolors, but the one specifically we're talking about today is going to be 70 grams per square meter. So it's a little bit thinner, a little bit lighter than the Leuchtturm, but I didn't necessarily have too many problems when I was using certain pens and certain color pencils and markers when I was bullet journaling. Personally, there are a lot of color options. Again, they do have a lot of colors like Leuchtturm, but the cool thing about the Moleskine is that they tend to release a lot of limited edition like notebooks. So they have like a Harry Potter collection right now. They have a city collection of like London and like Tokyo and stuff like that. I have a bunch of city Moleskines, and personally I have the most notebooks that I have are Moleskines because they vary so much that every time I found a new one I was like, okay, I need it. So we'll talk about my collection needs in another video too, but I do have a lot of Moleskine. Personally, I really liked the size. Like, it was more compact than the Leuchtturm. I had tendencies to take it more places, and it's just a good size. Now the 6 different size types are gonna have A5, A4, the extra large, the extra large, the pocket, and the large. And I have used all of them except the extra large, which I think was actually just released not too long ago or just announced. Same thing with the Moleskine. The Moleskine notebook is going to provide an elastic band for you to be able to close that and not worry about your notebook flinging open and throwing it in a backpack or a purse and ruining your pages inside. The current price of Moleskines is about $18, specifically for a hardcover on Amazon, and even on Moleskine's website I think it's about $18 to $20 too. Now the prices do vary based on size, so like the extra large notebooks can go as high as $35. The pocket size also as low as like $15. So you can expect to shell out around $20 if you're interested in this notebook. So those are quick little specs and uses for both of them if you wanted to know. Now comes the most important part of this video, and we're going to be testing pens. We're going to be testing pens. Now comes the most important part. We're going to be testing pens on these. Before we start this, I'm going to link the pen test for each individual pen in the description, so you can reference, come back to this video and reference it if you ever decide you want to get this journal or notebook. You just go down, I will timestamp it, like Sharpie is at minute 10:32, and you can see us and we'll talk about it a little bit. Bam. All right. So we're going to start with the Leuchtturm, and these are our collection of pens. It's a lot of pens. It's gonna take a little bit, but again, I want you guys to use this as a reference. You don't have to sit here and watch all of it, but if you ever decide you wanted to get one of these notebooks, this is the video to do it. Yeah, so I kind of just want you guys to use this video as a reference. So if you guys ever decided that you wanted a notebook and you wanted to see how certain pens work on that notebook, you could always just save this in your likes or come back to it. And like I said, I'm gonna have everything timestamped in the description below, what pens with what notebook and how it looks. So now it's time for, I guess, the overall recommendation. Now between these two, even though I said I started with the Moleskine, my overall recommendation for notebooks and bullet journaling in general is going to have to be the Leuchtturm 1917. It just feels like quality. That's as simple as I could put it. It feels heavy, the paper feels dense and heavy, and like most of the pens that I use, including the markers, like most of it doesn't bleed through so significantly like they do on the Moleskine. And it's important for me because I just started getting into coloring my bullet journals with a lot of different types of markers, and it's really annoying when you can't use the back part of your cover page for your bullet journal because it bleeds through so badly, so you have to leave it blank. Overall, I think for the price, it's a good investment. It has a lot of space, a lot of pages, and overall it just seems like you could take the abuse that you would probably have having a bullet journal, throwing it in your backpack, throwing it everywhere, opening it and closing it, drawing it, ripping it, taping it, everything that you could possibly do. I would probably recommend the Leuchtturm 1917 just because it seems more durable. The quality just is there, and ever since I started using these, I really haven't gone back. I now kind of use these as throwaway notebooks, like jotting down ideas, jotting down notes. I don't even like using other pens other than maybe like an actual just ballpoint pen, like a G2 Limited, or even just like my Faber Castells. Like they work fine with my Moleskine, but other than that, I don't really tend to deviate away from that. So my overall recommendation and the winner for this comparison today is going to be the Leuchtturm 1917. So hopefully you guys found this video helpful. Again, if you guys needed it as a reference, just give it a like down below, subscribe. I'm going to be posting a lot more comparisons of not just notebooks, but also different kinds of pens and artist stationery tools. Definitely subscribe if you like the content. Come back, follow me on Instagram at ThatJournalingGuy, and I will catch you guys in the next episode. Peace.